Today we check out the Mark V 35 from Mesa-Boogie. let's have a look at this thing. Starting up here on the front panel, the far left, starting in the middle switch here. The middle switch actually controls how you are switching back and forth between channel 1 and channel 2. The up position obviously is channel 1, down position is channel 2. The middle position is the using the, it means you are using the foot switch to switch back and forth. And the foot switch, which looks like this, has obviously it's a 4-button foot switch. The channel button on the far left toggles back and forth between channel 1 and 2. The EQ switch toggles the EQ section over here on and off. And then of course solo 1 and solo 2, each channel has its own independent solo boost, which is kind of a cool design, because, you know, if you want to be running, you know, if you want to leave solo, you know, leave the solo boost on channel 2, meanwhile switch over to channel 1 where you don't want it on, you can do that. And you know, that's a pretty cool design. Channel 1 has 3 modes. All the way in the up position is the clean mode, which is obviously the cleanest tone. In the middle is the fat position, which is a, you know, kind of a fatter version of the clean. It does break up a little bit, and then the crunch, of course, you know, does break up quite a bit. You know, and the gain control in the crunch channel does a whole lot. You know, does quite a bit on you know, in the crunch mode. The bottom, you know, I'm sorry, channel 2 has 3 modes as well. Up the first mode being the Mark II C+, the Mark IV, and the Extreme mode, which is their which obviously is the most recent incarnation of the Mark series, aka the Mark Vs. You know, each has their own independent EQ, gain controls, presence, master volume, 3-band EQ. What is interesting about this particular 3-band EQs is on both channels, and there is a little label right here on top of the channel 1 mid control. It might be difficult to see, but the first half of this tone pot is a mid control. Once you get past 12 o'clock, it becomes a mid boost, and the mid frequencies, you know, of that channel actually boost and become louder. You know, and that is the case on both channels there. Moving over to the EQ section, you know, again, each you can toggle the EQ on and off for each channel should you want to do that, and you know, each channel again has a three-way switch. You know, that's you know, the middle switch is the off position, up is the on position, then of course the bottom switch is the foot switch control. And that's how I had both of those set in the demo. Also, each channel has three different wattage modes. Your power soak, if you will, 35 watts, 25 watts, and 10 watts. Again, independent to each channel, as well as an independent solo boost on each channel, which I described earlier. And then, of course, last but not least, almost last but not least, you have your you know, your power and standby switch, which is pretty common on most tube amps. And what is also cool about the Mark series is they do come with, they do still put the classic Boogie logo on the front of it, as opposed to the more modern logo that just says Mesa. So I like that about these. Okay, and the back panel. Of course, you got your fuse compartment. It takes a 2-amp slow blow. Your IEC cable, you can't see it from that camera angle, but it's actually up underneath here on the bottom of the amp panel, or the amp chassis, if you will. You know, Mesa-Boogie does that a lot, and I assume that they do that because, you know, if you have somebody walking behind an amp and they accidentally get their foot caught up in the power cable, you know, it might be a little bit harder to rip the cable out from the amp if it's plugged in from underneath as opposed to straight into the back, like a Marshall or the Randalls are. Of course, you have your foot switch input, and that is the proprietary Mesa-Boogie 7-pin. 7-pin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-pin, I guess. 1, 2. I thought that was a 7-pin. I guess it's a 6-pin, or 5-pin rather. Nope, yeah, that's a 5-pin switch. Regardless, it's a proprietary foot switch cable for Mesa-Boogie. You know that they've used that proprietary cable on all the rectifiers use it. The Mark series all use it. Let's see. You have your effects loop here, send and return. Of course, your headphone input for if you want to do some silent playing or silent recording, you can actually do that with this amp. Each channel does have its own independent reverb control. I didn't use the reverb in the demo because I wanted the tone to remain as pure as possible, but I did try it out before, beforehand, and it does sound really, really cool. Also common with Mesa-Boogie amps, this one has two 4 ohm outputs and an 8 ohm output. There's no 16 on this one like you would see on a Marshall. And I think most Mesa-Boogie cabinets are usually 8 ohms or 4 ohms, which obviously is why they do that. The cabinet that I demoed this amp through is actually has two 8 ohm speakers, which if you do the math turns it into a 4 ohm, but I actually have it wired as a 16 ohm. So I plugged it in through the into the 8 ohm output there, and it worked just fine. Let's see here. The last but not least, and one really, really cool feature about this amp, this thing has a built-in cab clone in it. And again, the cab clone is a Mesa-Boogie device that for players who they have the amp, but they can't use a cab for some reason. They have to go direct into the system, the PA system. That's what this is designed to do. And if you are still getting to use a cabinet, you can select whether you have a speaker plugged into it or not, assuming that you don't. And you need what this does is this emulates the sound of a cabinet through the PA. And of course, you have the different types of cabinets that you can choose from between vintage, open back, and closed back. And of course, you have your XLR out and your ground lift. Should you be playing in a venue with old, bad electrical that causes a lot of electrical interference, you can lift the ground and hopefully eliminate some of that interference. That's what that switch is for. So, last but not least, inside the tube cage here, what you might be able to see here that I'm pointing at is the 4 EL84 power tubes, and as you can see on the tube guide right here, there is also six 12AX7 preamp tubes mounted up towards the front of the head. Overall, a very, very cool amp. Like most Mesa-Boogies, particularly in the Mark series, it has that classic, that classic Mark tone. All those old Metallica tones from the first 4 albums, back in the '80s. Those seem to all be in this thing, and that was really the main reason why I wanted to demo this amp. Also the reason why I used a guitar with EMGs in it, because I wanted to see how many of those Metallica tones I could replicate or get close. Of course, here in the dungeon, conditions obviously are going to be a little bit different than they would be in a multi-million-dollar studio with the actual band members playing. But it sounded to me like it got pretty close. And even if I'm wrong, I still got some very, very cool tones in it. Like all Mesa-Boogies, these things are built like tanks. Again, they have a very, very unique sound to them, and they are extremely, extremely versatile. There really is not a whole lot that you can't do with these. I think this amp is suited to just about any genre of music, anything from hard rock and heavy metal to the old classic rock and blues tones. And I noticed some really, really nice clean, pristine tones coming out of this amp as well. I was fumbling back and forth between the wattage, the different wattages, because, again, here in the dungeon, this is not the largest atmosphere in the world, and this is, for 35 watts, this is an extremely loud amp, perfectly capable of, playing, I would think, just about any kind of small and medium-sized gigs, maybe even larger venues, depending on what your needs might be. You know, being able to switch it down to 10 watts is also very handy for practicing at home. You know, and down to more what we call bedroom volumes, because you know, you can saturate the amp a little bit more and not you know, not without putting out nearly as much volume. Like all the Mark Series amps, these have this one has the additional 5-band EQ, which, you know, I did demo, and I find to really beef up the sound quite a bit, depending on how you have that have the EQ set. You know, I did have this one is currently set for. I didn't mess with the EQ at all throughout the demo. It is all set to you know, essentially a mid-scoop EQ. You know, again, you know, me trying to get some, you know, some of the heavier, you know, more heavy metal tones out of it. There's a reason why I did that. You know, still plenty of mid-range in it from doing so. And again, that's another benefit to having the mid boost on the EQ sections. You know, overall, you know, great job, Mesa-Boogie, all in a package. It does come with the like all Mesa-Boogies, it does come with the Mesa-Boogie head cover that you see here, and it does come with the foot switch and the proprietary foot switch cable, which obviously you need to operate the foot switch. You know, it comes with all that stuff, all in the same box. You know, no need to buy anything separately. All for $15.99. Mesa-Boogie are a price protected brand. That means that they do not allow their vendors, their authorized dealers rather, to discount their products. So if any Mesa-Boogie dealer will sell this amp for $15.99, not a penny more, not a penny less. If you're looking for a used one, if you're looking for a better price on one rather, you need to be searching the used market. These have not been out very long. The used market is probably going to be very strong on these for a long, you know, for the foreseeable year or two anyway. You know, once these start to hit the used market a little bit more, then we'll see the prices of the used ones come down a little bit. Right now, I would expect to pay, you know, at least $1,300 for a used one right now, easily. As always, go check out Share the Music on Facebook. You can visit their Facebook page at the link on your screen. I will also have the link to their Facebook page, my Facebook page, and you know, as well as my Twitter handle. Either on the screen or down in the description below, or both. I will also include the link to the Mesa-Boogie Mark 535. Head down in the link. You know, if you want to learn about Share the Music, like I said, you can go visit their Facebook page and learn more. What they do is they share the music, and by doing so, what they do is they accept donations of broken or unwanted instruments. They repair them and refurbish them, and then they give them to less fortunate children who would not be able to afford an instrument on their own. A cause that I believe in very deeply. And I would also like to take this moment and thank the folks from 9Buzz Software, who in my last video, they actually donated a free download to a Share the Music recipient themselves. And you know, so thank you very much. You know, a cause that means the world to me, and you know, to see other people getting involved, you know, in the music business I think is a really cool thing. So go check this thing out. You will like it.